So then she looked at me with the bewildered gaze of a baboon when you stick a bit of ginger up its arse. But nonetheless, she went ahead with it and selected 3rd overall in the 2005 NBA draft. And we're live.
You are now listening to Radio Rufus.
Yes, you luscious lemurs. Welcome back to another lip-synced episode of Radio Rufus. That's right, we actually record all the audio beforehand and then mime along an hour and a half afterwards.
It's all dubbed.
Yeah, it's all scripted. All the jokes are scripted and then it's all dubbed.
Yeah.
And I'm moving it like Prime King Julian as well. I'm a lusty lemur myself.
I'm looking forward to next week when we finally do your Japanese episode.
Oh, yeah.
I'm working on that, actually.
You guys are going to like some stuff we've got coming out. Japanese, Egyptian,
yeah.
Jamaican. We've got whole episodes just in accents, and if you want to call them accents, I think that's actually quite generous because a lot of them are just racist.
That's the best ones.
Yeah. That's what the people like. It reflects well on the audience. Anyway, welcome back to another dogshit episode of Radio Rufus. As always, I am joined by my absolute unwavering right-hand man. That's right, he's got the grip of Iron Man in the second film after he upgrades the suit again. You're like Jarvis if he had a hand, which is really useful. It's Aidan Rafferty. Say hello to the people, Aidan.
Hello.
And as always, I'm also joined by myself. Can never get rid of that guy. He's always hanging about, Rufus Rice. Hi, I'm Rufus. We bring you the latest and greatest from around the world. It's your traditional radio show with a classic twist. And in the case of this week, it's a titty twist. Yeah, that's right. I'm grabbing hold of both your nipples and yanking them to kingdom come. And deliver us from evil, I will. That's right. We're going biblical this week. And I would like to welcome a biblical guest to the studio. It's the Irish comedian, train lorry driver, and long-lost brother from another mother. It's the sweatiest man in stand-up. It's Mike Rice. Hello, Mike.
Welcome, Mike.
How are you, lads?
I had to adapt what I was saying off the paper there because it says Northern Irish here because that's where I thought you were from.
Yeah, I saw it when I came in. I saw a Northern Irish comedian on the thing, and then I thought you might be like negging me. That was a joke. A joke.
No.
I said, do you know what? Let him have his joke.
No, that wasn't a joke. That's just what I thought it was true.
Right.
Yeah. Because you people are all the same.
Well, there's not a massive difference between us now. Rafferty and I would be brothers. You're a Catholic, Rafferty.
Oh, right, yeah.
Of course, yeah. I can feel the decency, and it gets crueler as we travel west towards.
What am I?
Pagan.
I don't know.
Pagan.
Yeah.
You're a godless man.
I'm a godless
You're
man.
a godless man. Yeah.
Does Buddha count as a god? Because he was just a bloke, right?
He was a fat little lazy who kind of just... He was a dosser.
Yeah, right.
He was a dosser, and then everyone's like, oh, I'd like to do nothing as well.
There's no work in the Buddha, like.
No.
But I think, like, deep down I resonate with the Buddha because I'm a work-shy grifter as well.
Yeah. Do you know what? He was onto something. My father used to have a phrase where he said, I wish I was in a field of cotton sitting on my arse and doing nothing. And my father thought that would be the finest life there was.
Right, okay.
You've been happy enough.
Yeah, sitting in a field of cotton doing nothing.
Podcasting's a lot like that.
Yeah, we are. This is us.
This is our proverbial field of cotton.
This is the field of cotton.
And we are doing fuck all.
We're not doing anything, are we?
There we go.
I think there's certain eras that phrase wouldn't have went down too well in.
Well,
Yeah, that's true. A lot of bad history in the old cotton field.
in the old cotton fields.
Yeah.
But no one ever talks about
The good times.
The good times of the cotton. And that's one of the biggest tragedies.
Very negative, that history, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they tend to dwell
Yeah.
on parts that
Yeah.
you know. But this has gone rotten very early now. We've gotten rotten. Let's bring it back on track.
Let's bring it back on track.
Yeah.
Well, of course, we've got a lovely image of you here, just absolutely drenched in sweat. That's a
Yes.
full denim shirt, and you've gone right through it like it's nobody's business.
Lad, I tell you what, and I knew as I was filming the special, it's like in Anchorman, in Ron Burgundy's like, milk was a bad choice. I was like, denim was a bad choice.
Right.
Because it just sweat right through.
Yeah.
It was so hot.
Yeah.
And I just look so unsightly. I'm a fucking eyesore.
I reckon you could probably caramelize an onion under your armpit there.
Oh, 100%.
It's a bold statement, both fashion-wise and heat-wise.
Lad,
Yeah.
it was a mistake. It's rotten. It looks rotten. Like, even clips that I make up with it, I'm like, sure, who the hell would like this? Do you know what I mean? I look just, and as well for stand-up, you know, you want someone to seem cool, in control.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? A man, a master of his own empire, and then you see me just, it's just a visual aesthetic of struggle. The man is struggling here.
Well, you look like Lily Phillips about to go into Guantanamo Bay. You really do.
Poor old Lily.
Do you think?
Oh, come
Fuck
on.
all poor about her.
First,
Poor old,
making millions.
Rich old Lily.
I think that's the first piece of sympathy in the history of history for Lily Phillips.
That's not true. I was always concerned about whether she was getting enough tea breaks.
That's true.
Right.
He was very concerned about employee welfare.
Well, Aidan, as I said, there's a decency there.
Yeah.
You'd be like, harder, no water, no toilet for you, Phillips. Keep sucking. Is that a good? Have I got that right?
Initially, I thought that was a fucking German accent you were doing. I was like, why is he a Nazi?
Oh no!
Get the lube, Phillips. Enough of the
More
chatter.
lube,
More lube.
more lube.
More lube.
Would that be me? Would I be like the auteur?
You're in a little kind of a fedora and you've got a whip.
Yeah.
For some reason. Where the fuck is the lube?
You're right. Okay.
I'll behead you. It's like some little a minority assistant.
Yeah.
Get it, Ahmed. If you don't get the lube, you'll be sent right back to where you came from. And then you start.
I've always thought that those Lily Phillips sex tapes could do with a bit of artistic direction.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, because they're quite rough around the edges. I could be behind the camera going, more Utes. Come on, we need more ballys in
A bit
here.
of social commentary along with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I saw, do you know, last night I was doing a comedy show, Top Secret, not the one you were at, a different one, because there's two venues, and the whole front row was sitting in, and they were all wearing like school uniforms, so they're all like 17, 18, young, dumb, and full of cum, and I could see on their faces, there was kind of this optimism and hope, because I was quite miserable at that age, but you could see this new Bonnie Blue, Lily Phillips kind of phenomenon that's going on has given all these young men a pep in their step. Do you know what I mean? I too could be sucked from here to Afghanistan by, a beautiful older woman.
Lily Phillips in Afghanistan.
It would be fantastic. Yeah. I was saying send Bonnie Blue to Gaza, you know.
She got arrested. Have you seen? She got arrested yesterday.
What
Why?
for?
I have no idea.
For being the kindest woman on earth. What the hell?
Yeah, for doing too much charity work.
What the hell is her crime?
I don't know, but she did get arrested, and it was funny to see her. Well, she was bent over the hood of a Ferrari, but not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
You just know rightly she was fucking whispering filth into that policeman's ear the whole time.
Oh, sure, you know what? But think of it, right? If you were a policeman now and you saw the Bowl Bonnie Blue, you'd say, "Sure, Jesus, we'll bring her back here to the station now, and we'll see if we can't get a bit of crack out of her." Do you know what I mean? Surely,
Right. I think it's the first time she's been handcuffed when she didn't want it.
right?
Yeah.
Right, but sure, back at the station there now, sure, it would have been like the last days of Rome now.
Do you think?
Oh, for fuck! Of course it was.
Yeah, I
of
guess
course
so.
it was. You're going to be shagging these 17-year-olds. We're the bloody guardians of the rule of law here.
Yeah.
Surely we deserve a little kiss
deserve
on
a
the
go.
cock. What?
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Come on.
So if you want to hear more about kisses on the cock, Mike is obviously back with his stand-up show, Cruel Little Man. We have
Yes.
a little follow-up question about that. Is it about Napoleon, Stalin, or Chairman Mao?
Well, to me, they're kind of like they're my Beatles, the three of them. Do you know what I mean? They're who I'd look up to.
I think
yeah.
then Chairman Mao is the George Harrison of dictators because
Yeah.
he's kind of underrated, but he did a lot of the legwork in making some of the best songs.
Well, like if you think about George Harrison and Mao, and I think it's a beautiful comparison because George Harrison is like My Guitar Gently Weeps, Here Comes the Sun, Something in the Way She Moves. He
Here
wrote
Co-
all these, you know.
Yeah.
And Chairman Mao, his like cultural revolution, that was his Here Comes the Sun, where he, a lot more people, died in his one, but Harrison just didn't pull it off to the same extent,
He should have called it something like that, like "Here doesn't come the food." Or something like that.
Clip it up.
Yeah, here comes the burning.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, good stuff.
Do you know that Mao, at one point, when everyone was starving, and he was kind of coming under a little pressure, and people were like, listen.
No.
He was. He's
Really?
a little pressure, and people were
Horrible.
they're like, listen now, Mao, my beautiful Mao, there's millions dying here now, and they're starving and everything, and people are blaming you, of course, because it's your fault. And then Mao said, do you know whose fault it is? The birds.
Yeah.
The crows.
Always blame it on the women.
Yeah. No, he actually, he blamed the birds in the sky. I think it was like magpies or something. And he genuinely, this was the propaganda thing. The magpies are killing everyone because he said that they're coming down and eating the crops.
Right.
And then people can't have the crops. So for a full year, everyone in China was just instructed to murder birds. So China was just covered in a sea of dead magpies. And then what happened is an even greater famine occurred because it turns out the birds were eating the pesticides that were on the plants, the crops. So taking them out of the ecosystem made it even worse. And then he went for the women.
Right.
After
Okay.
that, Mao. Yeah.
That's double rough for the birds, isn't it? Because he's already burnt all their food in the first place, and now they're getting shot. They're hungry, and then they're getting shot.
And then they're getting shot.
You're definitely eating them birds, like.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, well, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I eat birds on a regular basis. I've been to Nando's.
Yeah.
I've eaten birds on a regular basis, and I'm not starving,
Right.
you know?
Brother.
So,
Amen, brother.
amen, brother.
First world, brother. It's nice.
You might know Mike from the Mike and Victorio's Guide to Parenting podcast.
Yes.
And I think, like, I confuse you guys all the time. I think that's where... Is he Northern Irish? Is that where the confusion is?
He claims to be now, but Rafferty would know. He's kind of a...
It's a turncoat.
He's a turncoat. There be...
Backstabbing bastard.
Well, you know, he moved here when he was 18. He's technically Catholic, but sure, he's Italian, so he's a jumped up fish and chip shop.
He couldn't be more Italian.
He couldn't
Or he couldn't be more Catholic, sorry.
Right. Well, yeah, but by blood, but there's a bend in him. His family were they're kind of people who would know. Aidan would know what I'm talking about. They would have taken the Queen's soup
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I was making that soup.
You would
I
have.
was
Your
doling,
people were.
I was doling it out.
You were one of the Quakers. You're a Quaker.
My grandpa is a Quaker, so that's an...
Is that genuinely true?
Very observational, like, really
Wow.
accurate statement.
That's pretty sick. Is your granddad a Quaker?
Yeah.
That's mad.
Which I'm not even really sure what that is. I know him mainly from the oats.
Well,
Same as I was about to say.
Yeah.
they were good fuckers, the Quakers. They were mad for helping people and setting up soup kitchens to save the starving
Yeah, well,
people.
he was a volunteer, well, he still is a volunteer litter picker.
Right.
So that's very Quaker, isn't it? We're helping the people out by picking up crisp packets.
Of course, and sure, you were probably drowned in soup growing up, were you? Your grandfather's soup, which could be misconstrued as
Yeah.
That's a more Catholic experience.
that's a more Catholic experience. Rafferty, you dog.
I think it's interesting that your podcast is called Guide to Parenting when, given that you're a 20-something with an isolating career path, you could probably have only had a child illegitimately with a post-show fling, I would imagine.
Yes.
So what was the
Well-
reasoning behind that?
Well, okay, so and it was a beautiful thing you've just said there, Rufus, and I don't know if it was an intentional compliment, but I am 34 years of age, which
you?
is something that doesn't make me happy when it comes into my mind.
You look good. I think we probably look about the same age, which is a bit upsetting.
Life hasn't been kind to you, Rufus, and I know you're 23 and the years have taken their toll, but that's okay, because for now you look an interesting, weathered young man.
Right. I think I can realistically claim to have done the postal route uphill both ways. You know what I mean? I look like I've never cycled downhill in my whole life.
Right, yeah. You do. It's kind of a Sisyphus kind of a feel, like you've just been pushing a rock up a hill.
Yeah.
Is the lack of like post-show flings intentional on your behalf?
Me?
Yeah.
No way, lad. No.
Not for lack of trying.
Yeah.
Listen, lad.
I suppose the sweat larceny is a good deterrent for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the disgusting manifestation of myself on stage tends to be kind of cock kryptonite, you know. It seems to be,
That's a new phrase for me.
cock kryptonite.
Yeah.
Put it in your fucking pocket there and take it home. It's a good one. But so I'm older. Vittorio's young. He's kind of a young phenom, a young do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's kind of Wayne Rooney of, he's shagging refugees in bins and he's, but
Did Rooney do that? I was only.
oh come on,
He's big into the grannies, I know that
Yeah,
much.
yeah. He's a proper granny shagger.
he was rooting through the bins for any kind of just a pulse.
Yeah.
He'd shag a rat, that cunt.
He'd have some crack at the minute with the refugees.
Who? Oh, Rooney.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd say it's like bedlam in the Rooney household. I'd say they're
Especially when Colleen was away at a fucking I'm a Celebrity.
lad.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
But she knows. Like, I think there's a level of woman that's just like, listen, my fella's a complete and utter lunatic. He's in the bins. He's shagging.
Do you think that's where he found his
the
hair?
Albanians? The bins.
Bins. Yeah.
I think that's where he might, because he did.
Because I wouldn't be surprised if he was like rooting around in the recycling behind a sort of
yeah,
Turkish barbers and came out with that thing.
and came out with an old mop.
Yeah, yeah.
It is funny with Waza, because you'd imagine he can get the best hair job money can buy.
Yeah, you'd think so.
He's worth, close to 50 grand, and you would think
That current transfer fee.
that's current transfer fee. But like, he has so much money, and then and he's still just, because usually wealth makes people look good. It's just like you can get work done. You look good. You can just literally pay for it. You can still be. I know people who are doing Charlie every night, but they're rich, so they just pay for a new face and their hair, and they still look good.
Yeah.
Whereas Waza just look like his head is expanding like the universe. It's gonna just like break apart.
It is. It's like a fucking foam you put in the windowsill.
Right. That's what's in his head. I always thought if his head broke apart, it'd just be like steak and kidney. It'd go everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or
I
like
don't-
cream of chicken.
Oh, do you think Wazza feels a bit uncomfortable when water gets in his ear? Is
Oh,
that what you're
yeah.
saying?
100%.
The most mental thing about that all is that him and Ronaldo are the same age.
They are, yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
that's the comparison.
He's
that
younger.
uses.
He's younger than.
Oh fuck, is he?
He's younger than Ronaldo.
Christ.
Yeah, yeah. But Waza, to be fair, he's not long for this world.
Do you
know?
think?
Oh no. I'd give him maybe to go to 3 weeks. In 3 weeks.
It's
time.
longer than he had at Plymouth anyway.
Yeah, that is longer than the other Plymouth.
Wazza will be listening to this going, oh, God, Mike Rice thinks I'm going to die.
He's like, oh fuck, that's optimistic. 3 weeks.
Yeah, and he's a guide to parenting. He'd surely know.
Yeah.
You know?
So there we go. That's the lowdown on Mike, if you weren't aware of who it was.
Yes.
Just going to quickly read out this final bullet point,
No.
which is when your friend, you had a threesome and your friend sort of gave you a helping hand and put your knob back in when it slipped out.
That's right. Yeah.
But you talk about that a lot, so we don't really need to dwell on that.
That's I like to bring that up. I was going to bring it up. I had it on my hand here to bring it up.
What does it say on your
You're
hand?
spreading the good word.
Well, this is my set list from last night
Yeah.
at the Top Secret Comedy Club.
What does it say?
So that says Brian Johnson, which is the kind of
Singer from AC/DC? Or
no creepy vampiric guy who's
the
trying
other
to
Brian Johnson.
Yeah, the guy who's trying to live forever. That guy who's like, I'm going to live forever. So I had a bit about him, and then Katy Perry. I did a new joke, my
Yep,
new Katy
I've heard
Perry
of her.
bit. Yeah, lovely woman. She's I believe she's working for NASA at the minute.
Yeah,
And then
she's a scientist.
and then after that, it's come, it says there. And right there it says
Is that an instruction or is it?
yeah, that's for after the show. That's for immediately after the
It's
show.
good to see you fucking showered after anyway.
Yeah, do you know what, lad? I that's sarcastic. I just picked up late, but no, I did shower, but I don't want to scrub my. You scrub the back of your hand.
No, you wash here,
you
here, and
wash
there.
here,
That's it.
here, armpits.
The water
yeah.
gets
I
the
don't,
rest.
I don't think
Yeah.
I've washed my legs in my entire life.
No,
Nobody does that.
they get it drizzles downstream, brother.
Yeah.
You know,
Women
It's-
are absolutely disgusted anytime they hear that, but it's a fucking
It's true.
universal experience.
No, I know. Yeah. Have you ever had a woman call you smelly
Probably my ma when I was younger.
when you were younger? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you?
I don't think so.
No.
Take it you have.
No.
Not yet.
If I'd gotten some support there, I might have opened up. But you know, but
No, we'll hang you out to dry on this podcast.
You will. There's a cruelty to the podcast.
Do you expand on those points, or do you just go up there and go, Katy Perry, come?
Well,
Like, is that the whole joke?
no,
Because
yes.
I was going to say it's a bit thin.
no. So what I'll do is I'll go up there and I'll just go, Katy Perry, what the hell? And I'll look out at the crowd, and then they'll feed me.
Yeah.
Feed me the lines. She's a bitch. I kissed a girl once. And people will, do you know what I mean? And they'll start feeding and informing.
One of the best
that.
things I've ever seen was I was on holiday in Turkey, and there was a local talent show, and a guy with Down syndrome did football skills to I Kissed a Girl.
Whoa.
Fuck, if you got the tapes of that, I'd like to watch that.
And there's nothing really else to say about that other than like, this guy fucking techers. Like,
You just know
Wow.
rightly, whenever like a footballer misses a sitter, they'll be quote tweeting that footage, being like, "Oh, whoever tonight."
Yeah.
You always get that.
this guy was like Ricardo Quaresma in 2008. This guy was unbelievable.
Oh.
What a footballer!
Remember that goal of Charisma, the outside the boot?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Cervello is it you call it?
Sure, I thought nothing could stop Charisma.
Yeah.
But sure, then he started on the, I believe he started on the chorizo. He just apparently couldn't stop eating like chorizo. He just like,
I thought you were about to say Coke or something.
no, no, no.
I thought you said trees.
No. Well, not to my knowledge.
Wait, so you think chorito?
Apparently Charisma, because everyone's like, oh, this guy's the next big thing. And apparently, like, he'd be even in the dressing room, it'd be just fucking and people be like, lad, what are you doing? You cannot, as full fat as well.
Yeah.
And he'd be telling lads to fuck off. He'd be trying to fight people if
Just
they tried
eating
to
it like
take
a
him off.
Mars bar
Yeah, yeah.
right out of his hand.
Right. And then just career.
It's the first time I think I've ever heard that someone's career has been derailed by hamon.
Yeah, but lad,
This guy, get the charcuterie board away from this guy.
oh lad, if you put a little bit of camembert beside him, then on top of that,
Yeah.
he'd be apparently used to. I read an article. He'd be like putting cheese up his ass. And,
Yeah, right, okay.
no, but I was like, and then the manager would be like, "This is getting in people's heads before a game."
Was it a superstitious thing? Like, I can't play right without a bit of gorgonzola up the sphincter.
Well, each to their own. I say if the performance
helps.
yeah, because listen, Rooney was obviously he'd be trying to shag the kit man, behind the bins, but he'd go out and he'd score a cracker. So it's like, hey, there's a method to the madness.
Yeah, right.
But Charisma was shoving a whole block of cheddar up his hole, and then he was going out and missing sitters. So.
Is that how they make mature cheddar?
Yeah, I think it does help in the process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a team, by the way?
Huh?
Do you have a team?
I support.
Rangers?
Huh? I always wish them well. They've a place in my heart, Rangers. No, do you know what? I supported United up until Alex Ferguson left, and the 2014, and then that my whole childhood team were gone, and Rooney was gone, and everything. And then I tried to keep supporting them, and then I was just like, do you know what? I actually couldn't give a fuck about these people.
get you.
I like
anymore.
cricket.
You do.
Yeah, so there we go.
That's not surprising for anyone. here.
Can you tell me this now? Because poor old Freddie Flintoff.
Yes, yeah.
And that kind of been easy for you.
Kind of been easy for me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he had been retired for about 15 years.
But
You
surely.
loved Top Gear as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I like Top Gear and cricket, so it's a nice crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
With your finger on the pulse, you're a man of this youth culture, Top Gear and cricket.
Do you think?
Top Gear and
You think
cricket.
Top Gear and cricket is youth culture?
Yeah.
Average age of about fucking 60.
Yeah. But when Freddie Flintoff got in that, I'm going to say it was bad, the accident.
Hot take.
Yeah, and how did that make you feel, Rufus?
Oh, I mean, it's a terrible thing. He's a legend of the
he's
game.
a legend of the game.
We all remember that epic over where to Ricky Ponting and did he get Langer and Ponting out in the same over in the 2005 Ashes series? I think it was the second test at Edgbaston.
Yeah.
That was one of the great times. Obviously, I was 3 at the time, so I remember it well.
I don't know
Right.
if any of those words are real that you just said.
I know what was real. One word was real, which was Ricky Ponting, because in the movie Slumdog Millionaire, there's a question, because they obviously love in India cricket, and he's like, is it the question is like, is it A? And then A is like whoever.
That was a good accent.
A, is it A, John Wilkinson, or is it B, Ricky Ponting?
Ricky Ponting.
Ricky Ponting. And that's a big moment in the movie.
Yeah.
So I know
I
Ricky
think-
Ponting is
I know.
correct.
I haven't seen Slumdog Indianaire, but I know it's a bit Indian.
Lad, it's so Indian.
So the answer is always Ricky Ponting.
I thought Ricky Ponting was like a posh tactic or something. As a fucking person.
like batsman's on the ropes here, chat. So let's walk in, walk out, and a bit of Ricky Ponting.
yeah.
No, it's a bloke.
Yeah, but you've not seen Slumdog Millionaire?
No, I haven't.
It's a joyous film.
Never seen
Rafferty.
myself, no.
Rafferty. You'd love it.
It's Bend It Like Beckham, but cricket, right?
It's been like Beckham. There's nothing. The only thing to do with cricket is Ricky Ponting is one of the answers
Right.
on the Millionaire thing. And after that, they completely boycott cricket.
Really?
Yeah.
But I think anything that's a bit Indian is also cricket, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think you're entitled to that opinion. Some people would probably question you on it, but
It's like if you watch 50 First Dates or something. Like that's basically a fishing movie.
That's the Sandler one.
Yeah.
Right.
But he wears a fishing shirt in it, so it's a fishing movie.
So to you, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So how is the correlation through between like Indian stuff and cricket though?
Well, like as soon as it's like I was in Spain, I was in Madrid,
Right.
and I walked into an off license,
Yes.
and there was a Bangladeshi guy behind the counter, and I clock him, and I'm like, cricket, and he was like, yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
you meant like I thought you were like eating a korma with a fucking cricket bat or something.
Right. Yeah. That's why I was thinking. You get some naan bread and you're just like cricket, and then you're trying to swing it, or like
Yeah.
that you've just this kind of deranged.
No, but all I'm saying is as soon as I see a guy with a turban, I'm cricket,
You just go up to his face
cricket.
with your hand for a gun,
Yeah.
and you could say shout, and you scream cricket.
How do you feel about the fact that Virat Kohli didn't score a first-class century for 4 years? You know, get a bit of banter in.
Right.
Yeah. In fairness, if I saw you in rural Ireland and I went up and was like hurling, I'd get an answer back like,
I'd love it. And a man your size, Raf, like a big fucker.
uh,
Now you would have been. Did you play GAA?
I did, yeah.
Where did you play now?
Full forward. Yeah.
Give it in fucking height to Rafferty.
I was a fucking bear in the square. Like,
Stick
I had a good 10-15 minutes in me, like, at the
Yeah.
end of the game.
Yeah, super sub. Bit of a Michael Owen.
Now, I started up until I was like 16, and then I just started drinking, and it just went downhill from there.
That's right. There, the alcohol in Ireland is the graveyard of many a career. And it's very sad. There'd be still people where Rafferty's from that would thought if Rafferty could have only stayed off the drink.
But it's an amateur sport, obviously, but I mind going
Right.
to freshers, and there's people at uni from my like local club. They're like, oh, no, we can't drink. We have a match next week.
Yeah.
I was like, you aren't getting fucking paid for this, like.
Yeah. It's crazy what they expect of these amateur players, but Rafferty was above it. He said, I'll do heroin come hell or high water.
Right. Yeah.
And you won't deny me of my birthright.
I'd like to see.
Worked out for me well.
I'd like to
Yeah.
see you in Train Spotting. To be fair.
Yeah.
Could do with that diet for a while.
You would have ate that baby that died.
Fucking right.
Yeah, mate. You would.
Bit of soy sauce over the head.
Oh fuck.
He'll have anything as long as there's a bit of hoisin.
Yeah.
This guy, honestly, yeah. You would lose a lot of weight. I
Yeah.
think Kate Moss would start asking you for tips.
Is that the woman with the fucking hole in her teeth? Or who's that?
Who, Kate Moss?
I think you're thinking of Daniela Westbrook, who had a hole in her nose.
Nah, I'm thinking of the woman that London look woman that had a big fucking, you could park a bus between the two front teeth.
I don't know her now. Oh, that's it. That you are thinking about Katie Moss. Now she would have been letting fucking Pete Doherty stick it in her there for the guts of 2 years.
Just through the fucking gap.
Just straight through the gap. He said that's where you got the most purchase. That's where she was tightest between the teeth.
You had to slot a couple of pound coins in there first, right?
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
Get her
Here,
going.
Do you know about this? Because no one else in the fucking podcast so far has.
Yes.
I was telling Rufus a few months ago about how back in Ireland I've got like a pay-as-you-go TV
Aha.
where you stick a quid in it. It's from like a
Such
rental
a funny
company.
country.
They come
Yeah.
back at the end of the month, take the pounds out, and pay off your TV and like your ma's fucking dishwasher or something with it.
I've heard of this now. I've heard of it. We didn't engage in it ourselves because, you know, we were doing a bit better than that. But
Farm life was going well.
well, listen, we're men of the land. You'd probably understand this.
This
You're
is such horseshit.
Oh, come on. Hey now.
Okay, I put up with
Hey now.
I put up with this like
What the hell?
I put up with this like rural potato famine bollocks for like 20 minutes.
You dirty bastard.
Mate, we're just same people with an accent.
No!
Oh, come on.
Oh,
This is
Can't be
such
saying that,
horseshit.
like,
I'll break up this whole set.
that's fucking
Mate,
ridiculous.
this is like you're like a French person coming in here with a beret and a striped top and a string of onions around his neck. Like it's just a ridiculous
That's a
character.
declaration of war, that.
What the hell are you
It's such
saying
a
now?
ridiculous caricature of Ireland in general.
Who?
Man of the land. They haven't been doing that for centuries.
He lives on a fucking farm,
I
you
grew up on a
twat.
farm, Rufus.
They don't grow anything anymore.
have some respect.
That stuff's all shipped in.
I'm a man of the wind, the rain, the earth. Oh,
You don't go out there and smell the sods once the fucking rains
I
come.
went home last week and the best fucking experience I had was smelling slurry for the first time.
oh, fresh cow shit, Rufus. It'd have
Is that,
you
what
high.
that, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd have you high as a kite. You don't understand. You don't understand.
No, you're right. I don't get it at all. I hate the countryside.
You do.
I don't really like drinking that much.
Right.
You know,
You don't like to... What's...
I've never been to Ireland. I think it's an absolute backwater.
You're just ruining your whole argument here.
What do you mean?
By saying that how similar we are, and then you're just talking about your culture and ours in such a different way.
It's just not that different, is it?
You've become... Something's hit a sore spot here now. There's a sensitivity.
Right.
You've been hurt. You're not liking the little wave of Irish popularity at the minute. Kneecap and Fontaine's, Mescal. Everyone's loving the Irish. And then you feel that's taken away from you, Rufus.
And we haven't even started the Lizzie's in a box chance yet.
No,
That's right.
That's true. Yeah.
Listen, and we could go there. Me and Rafferty could go there. We could be swinging from the ceiling.
I didn't queue up to go and see her, just so you know. I
Huh?
know you think I did, but I didn't queue up to go and see her. Like
To go see Lizzie.
Yeah. I think that's a bit silly.
You came down from the roof like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible.
Yeah, spread eagle.
Butt naked.
Yeah.
Johnny on.
You ever gig in Lavery's in Belfast?
Oh yes. Yeah.
I worked in the Tesco down the road from it, and it's in such a fucking Protestant area, but you'd always get ones from both sides coming in.
Yeah.
And I was working the night the news broke that Lizzie died, and I was working with 3 Protestants, and I was sitting, my ma rang me fucking celebrating.
Right.
She was like going mental.
And you had the belt around your neck.
There's some fucking Protestant in the till beside me started crying in the middle of one.
Oh, okay, I didn't. That's weird.
That's someone from fucking Belfast as well. That's not even
yeah,
an English
that's
woman.
wrong.
But can you do an impression?
She was properly bawling up.
Was
I was
she?
thinking, just fucking serve that woman, or it was some man trying to, that 10 quid Lebara or something.
What you
foreign
should have done?
credit.
Full thing of ice cold milk straight in her face. Cop onto yourself, woman.
Wake her up a bit.
Get a grip of yourself, woman.
There were no tears shed in the Rice household.
There's more staunch
In Rufus
royalists
Rice
back
household,
there.
because you and I are
We're brothers from another mother.
we're birds of a feather.
I've never met another Rice before, but clearly, like, we must be descended from the same people, the Welsh.
Yes.
obviously.
Yes.
From the King Rhys, of course, 1033.
Of course.
Because that's where our last name comes from. But we diverged somewhere along the tree, and I'm not sure where it happened.
Well, I look at you and I see on the outside, and I see just a afraid little Irishman in the body of a kind of a posh.
Wow, this is
Englishman.
really taking a turn. Now I'm being accused of being Irish.
You're being accused of deep within. There's a little Irishman. Let me out, Rufus. Let
Do
me
you think
out.
that's why I'm so annoyed?
Huh?
By
Yeah.
all this stuff. Like,
Absolutely.
It's in me somewhere.
It's in you somewhere.
I reckon we could fucking possess it out of you.
We could, yeah.
Yeah.
But at the end of all of this, we'll all sing in a kind of a slow chanting way. Come out, ye black and tans.
aye, that'll get
Come
you
out
going.
and fight
I
me
don't know
like a
what
man.
that
I imagine the listeners to this podcast are hating it after it's like, get rid of Aidan from this fucking podcast.
No, there's
Talking his fucking fairy
like
pixie
fucking
shit.
5 people every week. Like, we need to get more Irish people on.
Nice.
Well, we fulfilled the quota.
Yeah.
We did black guy, woman, Irish.
Yeah.
You know, we've got all the people who weren't allowed in pubs.
We'll have a fucking dog on next.
yeah. Right, should we move from up-to-date politics into
Yes.
the news? First story this week. United States President Donald Trump, who was formerly a businessman so successful that he had enough free time to lend his office and his face to the TV show The Apprentice, has officially backed a new reality TV program.
Yes.
That more sensitively deals with the pressing issues of our age, I think. So Kristi Noem, who is literally the Homeland Security Secretary, so she's like an inner cabinet minister.
Yes.
Right? So you think she probably has stuff to do. But her new task that Trump has given her is developing a series called The American. And it's a little bit like The Amazing Race. I think they should have called it The Amazing Racial.
Yes.
The top prize, instead of like £1 million or whatever it is, it's US citizenship.
Right, okay.
So the contestants,
Yeah.
there's 12 immigrants.
Brilliant.
And the first
The
episode...
apostles.
Yes, just
Yes.
like the apostles.
Yes.
And
Trump is Christ, as it were.
For 11 of them, it will be the Last Supper before they get sent back to Venezuela.
Brother.
There we go.
That's nice.
But so the first episode, they arrive in America via Ellis Island,
Yeah.
like the Irish did back in the day, which I think is hilarious
Yeah, yeah.
because they don't process people through that anymore. It's,
No.
it's a museum. So
It's just a sheer piece of theatre for the show. Them
Yeah.
coming through Ellis Island. I like that.
So then they travel around the country competing in different challenges, and the grand prize winner gets to go to the Capitol and get sworn in on the steps as a citizen,
Okay.
which it seems a bit counterproductive given what they've been up to so far.
Yes.
But they're just adding more people to deport, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's true, yeah. And is it like Hunger Games style where it's just fucking winner stays on and the other are killed? Or what
Right.
happens to the
King of
rest
the Hill.
them?
Yeah. Just kind of, eat, like, kind of throw them in a little room and then you have weapons in the middle and everyone go.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing.
I don't think it's a fight to the death. According to the pitch doc, the proposed challenges include, they're like historical things that Americans did back in the day.
Yeah.
I think killing natives is not one of them. But mining for gold in San Francisco, which I don't think they really do anymore.
But they're trying to make them in these kind of old prospector types.
Yes, yeah. Which I think like it would be more accurate to like mine for Bitcoin in San Francisco these days.
Right.
Like, yeah. So they're going to be gold panning in the rivers of San Francisco, balancing on logs in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's just to see if you can just stay on a log, which.
I think so.
And what does that do to? And I may be naive here. What would balancing on a log do to kind of generate revenue in the economy? Is there a way that's?
I think
question.
You need to ask the cabinet. I think
I need to ask. Right, that's one for Big Don.
You should write to the government. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one. Yeah, rafting down a river in Colorado, and my favorite, building a rocket for NASA in Cape Canaveral.
And also the last task is being a genius.
Building a rocket for NASA in Cape Canaveral in Florida.
Wow.
I don't think they should do that reality type stuff though. They should recreate like game shows or something.
I'd like a Takeshi's Castle.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Total Wipeout.
Total Wipeout. Yeah, I'd love to see immigrants go across the big balls.
Yeah.
What about Bake Off? The Great Mexican Bake Off.
Oh, that'd be nice.
It's churros every week.
That's right. They're all in the quinceañera gear. It's fun. There's music. Hot sauce.
Yeah. Churros again.
Yeah. But I think in some ways it is maybe a nice little parachute. It's like, okay, hey, we're kicking you out of the country, you and your family, and you've been here for 25 years. But you will have a chance to get back in.
You'd fucking take someone's hand off for that chance.
Oh, by God, you would.
Yeah.
It's an act of kindness and decency from our Lord and Savior, Donnie Trump.
I want everyone to wear a... This is not a quote, I'm just saying this. I want everyone in a sombrero at all times, I must say.
Well, I mean, it doesn't hurt. You've never seen someone in a sombrero and said, oh, that's made my mood worse, has it?
Yeah.
I've never seen someone in a sombrero that's not having a great time.
And what do you call that
course.
fucking rug they put on them? The poncho?
Yeah.
Yeah, rug with a hole in it. Yeah.
Well, I think the truth is, if you had a sombrero on and you did start to get sad, the first thing is like taking this fucking thing off. Do you know what I mean?
Just to regulate your emotions.
Just to regulate. It's like...
That's true.
You know, because if you're sad and you're feeling sad and then you caught a glance at yourself in the mirror and you saw the sombrero and it's like, that's adding insult to injury.
It's a bit ridiculous.
Your hand starts going and you've still got that fucking rattle in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a bit sad if you're like standing on the roof of some building thinking about sort of ending it all, but you're wearing arseless chaps.
You've got the fucking spurs hanging off the boots.
Yeah.
Wait, when did she pass? And you're just...
I'm walking over to the edge, but my flip-flops are going clip, clip, clip across the ground. It's like, that's just not happening, is it?
Yeah.
No. But sure, it is. I suppose if you look at it somewhere, it's a glorified wizard's hat, really, isn't
Fuck
it?
It is. A lot more space in it, though.
There's a lot more space.
It's like a two-story wizard's hat.
Yeah. Because you can...
It's got an attic.
Yeah. It's like a wizard's hat for the 21st century.
Yeah.
Right, okay, yeah.
I just pictured them finding out that the showstopper that week's like chimichangas and they've still got the fucking rattle going.
Right. But also, if they were building...
This is like when I said that my new business idea was cone-shaped hats. And then, I can't remember who it was, but the guest we had on was like, well, in Asia, you can't sell that to the Asian market, right? Because they've already got that.
Yeah.
But if you go around Asia, I think you'd be surprised how few people are actually wearing cone-shaped hats.
Yeah.
And I think Mexico might be the same.
You'd shift a few in Texas.
Yeah, Texas, you get a few.
But I think in the little game he's got going there, in his little racket, the game, building the rocket at the end, that'd be a great way to communicate it to maybe if you had a Mexican contestant, just be like, just a big sombrero. Like, that's how you describe to
flying
him.
Sombrero.
Like a big flying sombrero. Okay, I'll do that for you, senor. And then he's off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You have to speak to people in their language.
I think it's
That's something I've learned.
What, so Spanish? Once we get past jugos de leche, I'm really out on Spanish.
Yeah.
That's jugs of milk, so that's not that useful either.
Well, your name, your name is Rufio Arroz. Arroz. I am Miguel Arroz in Spanish. That's nice.
That is cool.
Yeah, you're Aidan Rafferty. You're just zero. It's just completely unchangeable name.
So a spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security, who once again shouldn't be working on this, told the media outlet that we stole this story from that the show's concept is in the beginning stages of the vetting process. I don't know how they choose the immigrants. That's another thing. And so it's being supported by.
Trump will just be, just the hottest ones. The biggest. You know what? And he just because he's all about ratings. Yeah. He's just like
he'd 100% of Joe Rogan hosting that as well.
Oh, jeez,
behind us,
mother of God.
Yeah.
Do you think like all the losers they put them in the rocket in the final challenge, and then it's like sort of a Mexican Challenger disaster?
I think it would have been a lot more interesting if they had these immigrants build Katy Perry's rocket.
Oh, lad, that would have been fantastic. I was saying, that was my new joke on stage. Well, I'm going to be throwing it out anyway. But that if what happened with the submersible had happened to Katy Perry's rocket, I honestly think it would have given the whole world a big lift.
Yeah,
I think
the boost we need in these trying times.
I think people would have been like, things aren't that bad.
I heard that last night, and you could very quickly tell that there was a lot of Katy Perry fans. There's half the crowd are like fucking pissing themselves.
Yeah, half the crowd were laughing, and then there was a lot of people who were like, there was this. Well,
he wants to kill 6 women.
You want to murder those women?
Yeah.
Okay, well, no, not funny.
There was a fella sat beside me in the crowd last night, and how there's like a random celebrity headliner?
Yeah.
The whole time he was like, "Oh, I hope it's Harry Hill. I hope it's Harry Hill." he kept elbowing his friends whenever the MC was going back up, and he was like, "Oh, do you reckon he's gonna announce that Harry Hill's coming on?"
Yeah.
And then he gaslit himself into believing it, and then he was stood at the door waiting to see who was announced. And they announced Sean Walsh. And he was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake." And he just left.
He left.
So if it was anyone but Harry Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a brilliant naivety to just... Because he surely knows it's a 1 in, 1,000 chance that it's Harry Hill.
Yeah.
Tonight, as the random celebrity headliner of all the things. And then he can't believe it's not him.
Yeah. He was fucking fuming.
Yeah.
Sean Walsh is a great comic.
Oh, he was class.
He's unreal, yeah.
Right, let's move on to our next story now. And residents of the Denny Blaine neighborhood in Seattle, Washington are lobbying their local council to stop criminal acts, namely, quote, rampant public masturbation at their local park. It should be noted that the park operates as one of those unofficial and technically illegal nude beaches. But it's an important spot for the queer and trans community. Lately, though, it's enraged the nearby residents. This is what a spokesperson had to say. It's illegal, it's illicit, it's masturbation multiple times a day. By men sitting on the wall, sitting at the park, in view of the homes, and in view of everything, and it's never ending, and it's really troubling. So basically, people are using this opportunity to just crank the hog in broad daylight.
Yeah.
The thing I take away from that is that all those wankers have a great engine on them if they're just doing it all day, every day.
Yeah, a little bit like N'Golo Kante.
Yeah.
That's right.
Or just inspiring work rate.
Box to box. Yeah.
Very-
Box to box wanking.
Very impressive.
Yeah. Covering a lot of ground. What's impressive, is the reload. Because you're thinking, you have one wank in the park, you'd surely think, okay,
that'll do me now.
That's a new phrase, isn't it? It's like a wank in the park.
It's like a wank in the park. Yeah.
How viciously do you have to be going at yourself for it to be declared rampant?
Rampant was, I found, a fun word there.
I think that's an interesting question, and I also think, at what point does just shaking the drops off become full-blown tug,
Right.
Because arguably, I've seen some people at the urinals get a bit overexcited, and it verges on masturbation.
Well, you see some people at the urinals, and they have the cock out, and now they're giving it a shake, and then you can see it cross their mind, like when in Rome. Yeah. And you can see there's a feeling of, listen, I'm after starting the party, let's,
Yeah.
And we're all brothers here.
Yeah.
City
of brotherly love.
But when I hear rampant, because then you think next rampaging, like ramping. So then you're thinking of a homeless person on a horse. You know what I mean? Little Napoleon hat on, just ran,
Are you?
straight through.
Okay.
Well, that's what I thought about deeply when that got discussed. Just, on guard. And they're just And
That
then-
would be a terrifying image, dawn rises on the battlefield and you
Yes.
see a guy with an enormous hog backlit against a
Yeah.
dawn rise, sort of sunrise, just whipping it around like the Zulu War.
Is there something to be said for if you had the money to going somewhere like San Francisco and giving all the homeless people horses?
Just
And
for the
ju-
crack.
Just say, and they're like, "Why you want me to do with this, man? Whatever you want, whatever you feel like doing."
Yeah, I
with it."
just don't feel like homeless people are the most experienced show jumpers. I feel like the horses are gonna go on one and then just kill civilians in a stampede. I feel like.
Right, but even that, of course,
Well, it's funny.
it's wrong, but it's worth it.
There's a lad from where I'm from back in Ireland, and he's sort of like a fucking local village idiot.
Yeah.
And he's not completely there in the fucking head. Like,
Every village is one of them.
there is, but there's this group of lads, and they worked in the farm, and they had this pony, and they didn't want anything to do with it anymore. So they took it out and met this fella on the road, and was like, "Here, would you mind that for a second?" And they just left him with the fucking pony. So that's sort of something similar as you giving the fucking horse.
Well, that's what I'm
homeless people
saying.
horses.
And next thing, it also gives people a raison d'etre, if you don't mind
Yep.
me engaging in French. They've got this horse now. So this is the meaning of my life. Taking care of this horse. Better get a job so I can get nuts for the horse.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Stimulate the economy.
I
Put
think
more
that
horses in.
That horse very quickly is over the side of a trolley and it's getting grilled
Yeah.
within a week. Like,
We're having roast horse this Sunday.
yeah,
Get around.
Lot of meat on a horse.
There is, lad.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there was a pro park community group as well. So it's a real sort of local council battle.
Yes.
And someone said a lot of folks who want to be out there in their bodies. This is for a lot of queer and trans folks who might face harassment at other types of beaches. The park's just a really safe place. So if you look at the lawsuit that they filed, basically they want to get rid of the nudity entirely.
I thought it was a gay community that was using this park.
Yes, yeah.
No,
So
but
this is
I
a-
mean,
this is
as
a
like
pro
a
park.
dogging haven. It's just
Haven?
yeah. It's not. It's just them visiting. It's not them engaging in the fucking wanking and stuff.
Right. So here's what I'm saying is maybe is the call coming from inside the house in terms of the gay community, or is it
Do you think there's someone on the inside who's like, that's just too much dogging?
well, or is it a case of like
Sure.
they're saying they're distancing themselves, but who's to say it's not a gay man's flute that's being tugged to kingdom come?
No, it is.
Oh, it is.
It is.
Oh, so that's
Now you're connecting the dots.
Nah.
The problem is all the
Minority
people
report as well.
all the people who live around are upset.
So are
basically.
the gay people fuming that someone stuck like their fucking wanking wall or something?
Yes, that's exactly what's happening.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're saying that's where we wank.
Yeah.
It's like
So
we
they're all
work,
a pile
but-
of filthy pricks.
Yeah.
Yep.
But do you think maybe that what we have to do with this sort of what would you call it? What do you call it when someone's like a show off? What's that word? Like exhibitionism.
Yeah.
Do you know when people just want to wank in public? But then why don't we set up spaces? Do you know the idea of like we work for working, but like we wank? And it's like
Right.
do you know what I mean?
Co-wanking.
Co-wanking spaces.
Yeah.
Where people get to go and just wank.
Yeah, wanking from home on a Friday.
Wanking from home on a Friday.
I think what you're sort of getting at here is a sort
Yeah.
of The Secret Garden, that book,
Uh-huh.
where this is a terrible analogy because it really
Right.
this is going to be a very homophobic analogy.
But you know what? I think you've got the right people here.
Just roll just
For it to get over the line.
just roll with me here.
Yeah.
So in the Secret Garden, they keep all the disabled people in a walled garden.
yes.
Yeah,
All I'm saying is a wall could solve a lot of these problems.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And there is a wall,
Yes.
but like Trump style, let's just add another 12 feet to that wall.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we ring fence the wanking.
Yes. Right.
I think this is one of them bits that stays in the full pod, but we don't make a clip out of it.
Yeah, probably.
I'm glad that because you were telling me before, you're like, oh yeah, we feel that editing. I'm like, all right, so they don't just let the whole thing,
Oh,
everything stay in. So I
It
was like,
flies, brother.
The
right.
only thing that doesn't is any C bombs we've dropped because that gets
That
demonetized.
has to get
yeah,
beeped, unfortunately.
Right. And it is unfortunate.
Yeah.
it is.
It is sad.
So the groups have agreed. There's been a little like cross-bench sort of agreement here
Yes.
to formulate a special training session for the local police,
Mm.
which to remind them, nudity itself is actually not illegal in Washington State, but harassment and cranking the hog is. And then there's also free bystander intervention training for any members of the public that I assume like want to cling to the Space Needle at night and watch over the city like some kind of Batman figure, like a sort of anti-wanking vigilante.
Dun, 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 dun.
So if you live there and you want
That
to,
sign was just a cock like up in the thing.
yeah,
It's like
What would you call that vigilante? What would the name of it be?
Batty Man.
maybe Batty Man.
Oh yeah.
Batman.
Back to the Batty Cave.
Fuck, I'd love to go to the body cave.
The Battymobile. Yeah. Oh, that is good.
That's fun.
That wasn't even written down. That's one of the best off the cuffs we've had ever. I think.
That's nice.
good. Yeah,
That's
Do you reckon fucking Alfred in the body cave is like full on Jamaican?
yeah.
Batty Man. Right. Okay.
Good.
Let's move on to our
Good.
final news story now. And a Chinese student who explored Japan's Mount Fuji from base to tip had to be rescued and then rescued again after he went back for his phone. so rescue teams received a distress call from this bloke,
Yeah.
and then they had to airlift him. He was that sick with
Right.
altitude sickness.
Okay.
Right. He also broke his climbing poles. So he was in a bad way.
Right.
Right. And then he was basically being stretchered off the field at Mount Fuji, but he accidentally left behind his phone and some other stuff. And he wanted his phone back so badly. And I can attest to this. I've been to China. Those guys are on their phones
Right.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got a unique. We think we love our phones. No, we don't. We have a very casual relationship with our phone. They love them.
I've been to restaurants in China where they
Yeah.
have an iPad at the table
Yes.
just in case you want to use it.
Antisocial pricks.
Well, they know if they don't like they'll start.
Okay.
Bit of that will start.
First ever caveman noise on the podcast.
That was more like karate to me.
Oh yeah.
Is that
And
them
then
like cutting their fucking steak?
That's them cutting their say. Yeah. But then you put the iPad and it's and then
Wow.
and that's a kind of a simmering down.
Right. I didn't
Into
know
the-
what noise it made with a Chinese man going at a chili crab, but thanks for that. So this guy ventured once again 3,000 meters above sea level, and his whereabouts were unknown.
And like, how long does this take him to go up again?
I don't know. I've climbed some mountains. You know, that's probably 2 days
Right.
up there, depending on how treacherous it is.
And you don't drink, you've said.
I do, but like
You're not mad into it.
I'm not like on Irish level.
Right. And I understand that I can get a bit much. But then what has weathered the face? If not.
Yeah, I think. Are you saying it's the climate?
If not booze, what is this?
Yeah, because I don't chain smoke.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you stressed? Are you under stress?
Do you see me? See my grey hairs?
Yeah, I can, brother.
Yeah. It must be stress.
The light dances off them in a peculiar way.
Yeah, 5 million lumens reflecting into the eyeballs of everyone in the studio. Anyway, this guy went above sea level. Do you think that the altitude has aged my face?
There's a lot. I'm just trying to find a solution in my head.
Right. So his whereabouts were unknown until another climber luckily found him just lying on the ground.
Oh, he gave up.
Just lying on the ground. Extreme altitude sickness.
Playing Angry Birds
Yeah,
on his phone.
doodle jump.
But like, what? Hold on. Did he find the phone?
I don't think so.
He did.
It sounds like someone that had very fucking incriminating stuff on the phone. They just didn't want anyone else getting hold
Yeah.
of it.
I'd say there was some footage of him wanking in a park in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Up on the wall.
There was some.
I'm sorry. That's the last noise I will make for
was
the
some-
rest of my career.
There were some foot pics on the camera roll for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
So he got airlifted again.
Okay.
But it remains to be seen whether like he'll make a third attempt for the Android. You know, like people make attempts for the Summit. he's making attempts for the Samsung Galaxy A6.
I sort of know how he feels. I lost, it was like a Samsung Galaxy S20 or something in a fucking Chinese after a night out one time.
He's probably got it, mate.
It might do, hey?
Yeah.
But I paid for
He's
my
at the top
food.
of Mount Fuji now.
I paid for my food, then it just disappeared. And there was this fucking homeless fella that walked in, and I more or less strip searched that prick trying to find it.
Right.
It just fucking disappeared. I'm convinced the people behind the till took it and sold it on. Like,
Well, you see, you can't even blame them, because if you're, like I said, if you're in a Chinese, they love phone. It's
they
irrational.
probably built it.
Now, Rafferty, we've had a lot of laughs, but you've crossed the line there now.
I
There
never
is
thought fucking Mike Rice would be telling someone to cross the line.
no, but sure, if you leave the phone out, sure, that's like, that's like leaving a juicy pair of tits in front of old Rufus Rice here.
Yeah.
He can't be
All
blamed.
over them.
Huh?
What
To
is
this
that-
cad.
What does that mean?
To this.
Well, to be fair, I do like Oktoberfest.
You,
if you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
you look like a man. You look like a man now who'd have,
Do I look like a tit man?
yeah.
We've been over this on this podcast before,
Have you?
I think. Whereas I don't think they are really, in my generation, I don't think tit men are a thing anymore. And I don't think arse men are either, because I think we've sort of...
It's just gone. You've just zoned into just the pure practicalities of
We've
vagina.
transcended, no. We've transcended, like, it's a bit like sort of Messi or Ronaldo, just appreciate both sides, Why do we have to compare?
Yes.
And I think there's sort of a harmonious relationship between arse and tits now that you can appreciate. It's about how they work in tandem.
in tandem together
Yeah.
as one. Because I suppose the rhetoric before was very kind of inflammatory and divisive and
Exactly. It was very Catholics on this side, Protestants on the other.
Right.
We were drawing lines.
if you had to say which was Catholic and which was Protestant between tits and arse, which just gut feeling, go.
I think tits are Protestant. Do we all agree on that?
Tits,
No,
well,
that's it. Tits are Catholic.
yeah,
Get fed from them. Shite comes out of a hole. That's more British.
That's more Brit. The shit coming out, I think we'd have to agree, on a global historical
Sorry,
level,
it's just
is more of a
such a-
Protestant.
yeah.
Such a
kind of-
ridiculous analogy.
But also the Irish, especially the Catholics, are feeders. You can't get fed from a fucking... Well, maybe you can get fed from an ass.
And
Depends
as,
what you're into.
if you were of a particular appetite, a persuasion, if you were in a park in
Yeah.
San Francisco, I'm sure a fresh hot shite would be the best dinner you'd had in years.
My mum listens to this podcast.
She does not.
She does.
Does she?
She's gonna like this bit.
Yeah, but I've listened to episodes of this. Sure, you're always saying rotten things.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. But she listens, and does she listen on? Is your mother a woman of the world? Like my mother, now she heard this, would start crying, would actually start weeping.
No, my mum's battle hardened.
Is she?
Yeah, she's like match fit now. Like,
Right.
when a new podcast comes out, she's like game face on.
Right.
Yeah.
She gets herself in the mirror like cold water, just
Yeah.
splashing. Come on.
Has your man ever been to one of your shows?
No, she couldn't. My father, one time, I was at a show in Kilkenny. This is no joke. He's like, "Shall we go in and watch Mike?" And she started crying, and she's like, "I can't. I just can't."
Yeah.
Yeah.
She gets Vietnam flashbacks.
Huh? Yeah.
So like,
Do you
Right.
reckon growing up in rural Ireland, it would have been easier to come out as gay than a stand-up comedian?
Absolutely. My little brother is gay. She's mad about him. She thinks the sun shines out of his hole.
oh, that kind of mad.
Yeah.
Okay, right. I thought she was upset.
No. She's loves it, and he's an actor, and he does, so like it's weird. We're from a farm and everyone's doing odd stuff, but she loves that. Like he's great, and he's in the theatre, and that's wonderful. And try him up there talking about eating my own cum. She can't get on board with it. She can't. How
Right.
could she?
Yeah.
I'm getting, drunk on the house wine. You
Yeah.
can't. Who's going to get on board with that? For fuck's sake.
Right, let's move on to sports now. But this is Taliban, but it's also sport.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's the return of everyone's favourite segment. We've previously reported the Taliban love to ban stuff. I mean, it's literally Taliban. Like
Taliban.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
It's not Tala approve.
Yeah, exactly. So they've banned almost anything and everything. So on their ban list already were musical instruments,
Yes.
bum stuff, and Windows as well. Like not Microsoft Windows, like Windows.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Taliban have had enough of Windows.
No Windows.
They've had
allowed.
enough of
So any new
peeking.
building that this is genuinely true. Any
Okay.
new building that gets built in Afghanistan has no windows
Brilliant.
because they think that pervy men
Yeah.
are gonna look out the window at women
Yes.
and commit haram activities.
Ah.
That was the reasoning.
Okay.
Now the next thing to get shot with a reused Russian AK is chess. No chess
No chess.
allowed in Afghanistan.
Well, you don't want to develop a strategic part of someone's mind.
Well, that's a good insight.
Because next thing they're going to be start using that. How will I overthrow the Taliban? I'll move this here, this here.
Knight to B4.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, you need to keep them just playing thick games. Connect 4 or something. You know what I
That's
mean?
an interesting.
Guess who, maybe?
Guess who?
Taliban, guess who?
Oh, it's Osama bin Laden again.
Is your guy a Muslim?
Yeah.
Does he have a neck beard?
So
Right.
that's an interesting insight because I couldn't quite wrap my head around why they banned it.
Oh, the checks,
Because
yeah.
usually they give a pretty strong reason.
Mm.
Because they've got some ideas, these guys.
Oh, well, they're ideas, man, yeah.
Yeah, and they stick to it. There's like Steve Jobs.
Oh, they're like
They're
Silicon
creative.
Valley in the 70s. It's just...
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't picture chess being that important of a sport over there.
Well,
It isn't really. That's
I
one of
reckon
the
they'll ban
problems.
fucking cricket next just to really wind everyone off.
Their cricket team is good.
Yeah, that would get them going.
the Taliban's cricket team.
So Afghanistan, actually, you believe me, Afghanistan have a good cricket team.
Right. They swing the Taliban. Is that...
That was so shit.
Even as I said it, as it was coming out of my mouth, I was like, do you know what? Let the editors get this one. You know what?
Taliban.
The Taliban.
Yeah. So you've got to get 11 Talibatsmen out. Oh yeah.
You know what? Hey, it's not unlike the fucking penal laws in Ireland back in the day, where they're just banning stuff for the crack.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the crack might be a reason.
Well, it's Cromwellian, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cromwell was a big man for that. He loved to,
Yeah,
no
I-
music. Why not? Shut the
Taliban
fuck
are-
up. That's why.
yeah.
So I don't want it.
It is. Fuck you. That's why I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the official reason.
No Christmas.
They're definitely modelling their game after the British.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of tactics going on there.
That's right.
It's an evolution of the sport. Like some people, you look back at 90s football and you're like, this is pretty tactically quite shit. But I think it implemented some of the ideas that Pep built on
Yeah.
for his systems. And
like
in
Pep-
some ways, the Taliban are the Pep Guardiola of governments.
Of governments and England was
The Johan Cruyff,
the Johan
the total football.
was total football.
Excellent.
That's
Excellent.
wonderful. Well done, Rafferty.
Yeah.
You earned your pay on that one. That
So-
was nice.
It's due to religious considerations, as always, so no change there.
Right.
They never do something that's not religious considerations, I think.
No.
So no boards are allowed to be sold, no pieces will get sold,
But boards at all.
no chessboards allowed.
No. Right. But you could have.
You can have an ironing board, I think.
or a Ouija
Plaster
board,
board.
or if you.
I reckon Ouija board might be out the window.
Because they wouldn't want you. They wouldn't want you talking to the fucking
yeah.
the dead, because the people that are dead are going to be like, there was no virgins.
Yeah,
You
like
can't control the propaganda on a Ouija board.
That's the last thing they want.
imagine you get up there and those virgins are like, well, we weren't going to shag you anyway, mate.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so fuck you. Actually, it wasn't worth it at all.
Yeah, but sure, if you got the Ouija board and you said, and right, I'm going to talk to my old father now, poor father, and you ring him up and he had blown himself to bits in somewhere, and then you're like, Jays, I'd say the cock must be falling off you with all the virgins. He says, no, haven't come once. And you'd be like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And then you go down to the Taliban and you say, hey, come out now, I'll fight you.
So chess is now gone forever. So if you're a chess player in Afghanistan and you're listening to this, so long, sayonara, good night.
It's been great. It's been
Had a lovely
what a
time.
ride we've had.
Right, now we're going to move on to the games segment. It's Gamey Schumer coming at you now. And today we're going to play a game of Guess Who Is Written on Your Head. It's Rufus versus Aidan versus Mike versus Alien versus Predator versus Plants versus Batman versus Monsters versus the World versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus
Inter Milan.
Manny Pacquiao in the ultimate showdown to decide which alpha male will reign supreme not only in this realm, but across multiple interwoven timelines and universes, including the metaverse, sending ripples through the space-time continuum, shedding blood, sweat, tears, and a variety of increasingly concerning bodily excretions in the single pursuit of sweet, virtuous, unholy glory. Let the game commence.
Amen.
He's a wonderful broadcaster. The speed, of thought, of movement, really, really good.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome now to Gamey Schumer. We've each got a person that someone else has picked written on our head, and the first person to figure out who it is through questions wins.
Right.
So if you want to ask a question first, Mike, feel free.
Is it a man or a woman?
You've got a woman.
Are they alive?
That's a good question.
um,
I'm gonna say yes. There's been no word of their death.
I haven't heard news of the death.
I haven't heard news of this character in about 12 years.
That's a huge.
okay.
That's a huge clue.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have I got a? Is my person white?
I'm gonna say yes. I don't know who this person is.
He is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know who this person is.
A white guy.
Right. So mine's a woman. Is she a politician?
No.
Okay. Right.
Are they older than 50 years old?
Oh, that's hard as well.
That's a hard one as well. But I'm gonna say probably.
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 Right.
Yeah.
So I've got a white guy.
Yeah.
I might just throw a guess out there, see if I hit the nail here. Have I got Ricky Ponting?
You don't.
You do
Okay,
not have
okay.
Ricky Ponting. Okay. Is this woman in entertainment?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
Well, don't say I mean, yeah. I mean, she is or she isn't.
there's entertaining aspects to what she's done. I wouldn't say that's her main field.
Yeah.
That's not her main field.
No.
No.
Okay. We can only go yes or no. We'll be here all fucking night. Right, go on.
Ah, fuck me.
Rafferty.
So he's been missing for 12 odd years.
That's so accurate.
He might be 50 odd. Fuck, I'm trying to think of who fucking went walkabouts in 2013.
That was a really good line of questioning,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Just narrow the field a bit.
Yeah.
Does he have a neck beard?
No.
No.
It's quite hard because quite little is known about this guy.
Yeah, very little.
Oh, Jesus.
Is my person alive?
Yeah.
Right. So she's kind of in entertainment. She's not a politician. Does that mean it's a kind of is it an author?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah. Okay.
Start to narrow in now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Jeffrey Epstein?
No. No.
Give him some credit. He was around way.
He was
less
way.
than-
Yeah.
He was Epstein before Epstein was Epstein.
Yeah, I think this guy.
That's confusing.
what this guy
he
is-
wasn't Epstein.
What this guy is known for happened before the whole Epstein shenanigans.
Yes. Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Right.
Okay. Is my guy a criminal of some kind?
It depends.
That's not really an answer.
It
Is it?
depends because he might have an alleged side hustle
Right. Okay.
that could be deemed criminal.
That's helpful.
Right. Right. So mine's a woman. It's an author. Is she white?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is my fella black?
Yep.
He said that because he doesn't know any black people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it is one of the three you know, I think.
It's either Deji or no one.
It's not Deji.
Uh,
Right, so I got a guy. Is it Wayne Lineker?
No.
no, but he is a great man. Is mine Sally Rooney?
No, that's a great shout though. It's probably the other female author that you've heard of.
Rotten old Sally.
I'm gonna be fucking fuming myself inordinately. Fucking Uncle Phil from the Fresh Prince.
No, it's not
Went
him.
missing in 2013, we
He
think.
fucking died in 2013.
Did he?
Around that time, I might have been after.
Oh fuck.
Is my guy like is he over 50?
You like
Yeah,
it.
he would be. I forgot there. Sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is mine Helen Keller?
Yes,
Fucking is. Yeah.
it is Helen Keller.
Do we just accept that as a winner?
That's
then?
the game.
Oh!
That's
Yeah.
the game.
Nice.
Congratulations,
Joseph
Mike.
fucking Coney 2012. Bastard.
Oh, fucking.
Oh, yeah, we got you to 2013. That
That's
was
so
fun.
hard. I got Neil
Yeah.
Buchanan who used to present Art Attack.
Oh yeah, I
I don't know why he was the
I
first
didn't get
person.
Art Attack in the Republic of Ireland, so I didn't know that one.
What a game, though.
That was a good game.
Yeah.
You
That was quite
sniped
thrilling.
Helen Keller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what was quality, by the way?
What?
Fucking watching SpongeBob and TG Cahir. Hadn't a fucking word clue what they were saying, like.
Yeah.
But it was hilarious whenever I was like 8 years of age.
Just the character, they look fucking mad. Speaking Irish, this is good.
Right, let's move on to our final segment now.
Right.
This is Questionable. It's our viewer interaction segment where we ask you a tenuous question and you give us equally tenuous and torturous responses. And I have to say, sifting through these is a little bit like panning for gold in the Ganges.
Right. Yes.
In the most of the time, I'm not sure there even is any gold anyway. But if you're not getting gold, you're probably getting, someone's head.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh fuck.
And
Right.
it's got my Instagram replies. You can smell them.
Right. You find the Japanese guy's phone. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we asked you guys this week, what's the best lie that you've ever told? And here are your most devious responses. Here's the first one. I lied that I was a Russian oligarch's son whose father peddled explosives and guns to the IRA for pity sex. Easy work.
For pity sex.
Yeah, there's a lot of components here.
Also,
Right.
I'm assuming this is one of your fans, so they're probably in their early 20s.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
fucking faction of the IRA are they peddling guns to these days?
Right. Yeah. It's they're obviously kind of really leaning on the fact that this girl knows nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I think she's got to know what the IRA is and be into that are two big stepping stones.
But this is the whole kneecap thing. You know what I mean?
I don't think there's many rawheads in fucking Bath.
No, that's true.
Right.
This probably didn't come from someone who lives in Bath.
Okay. So he said he's a Russian oligarch's son. So he's saying I'm really rich.
Yeah.
And I personally have been given guns.
My dad
My dad.
did it, I guess, when the IRA were really sort of in vogue.
Right.
Next one. I told a lie that my uncle was in the Twin Towers. I mean, he did work there and he only lived because his train was late, but he wasn't in it when it got hit. I think, is that even a lie?
Yeah. I mean, it's not. But you're saying your uncle died in the Twin Towers.
Yeah, well...
And he didn't. Or do
No.
you just say,
Why?
you say out loud, my uncle's in the Twin Towers, and then you say nothing, was in the Twin Towers, and say nothing else, and then everyone assumes that he died,
Yeah.
but you're not clearing up the fact that he's alive and well.
Either way, it was a good day to pull a sickie.
Great day to pull a sick. Do you know that I just listened to a thing the other day that there's this woman who got fired the day before.
Fuck, that's close.
Day before 9/11, just literally fucking all I do is win. Like she must have been dabbing for a month.
Recording TikTok dances at Ground Zero.
Oh my god, she must have been fucking.
Da, 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 da.
She had a sombrero on for a year. That woman.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Doing what? Are you literally doing the mannequin challenge on the rubble?
Oh.
Is that what you were suggesting? Right. Next one. I told a girl it was okay, just completely all right, after she emptied her bowels while riding me. You could say she made a full deposit to Shat West. So the pun has written itself there.
Right.
Great job for that. I put that in just for that pun.
Yeah.
So he's saying, but this isn't a lie then.
No, well, he's lied that
Oh,
he's
lied
okay
that
with
he's okay with it.
Yeah, he's like, that's fine.
Right.
I'm not even worried about that.
Well,
These
I'm
are fucking fetishes are discovered. That's when you're like, fuck, I don't mind that.
Hold on now. It's a fetish for people to be shat on.
Aye.
You've heard,
Oh, yeah.
you've heard about those Dubai sheikhs who...
Right, but sure, didn't they leave? They left close to a ton of shite on Katie Price, didn't they? Did you see those pictures?
There was a lot of allegations that was Harvey that done that.
Yeah.
She looked like she'd been put down beside a slurry spreader for it.
That was a fucking massive log. Like, that was
good
actually
l-
impressive.
Good lord.
If you don't know what we're talking about at home, there has been an image that had made the rounds on Twitter of Katie Price years ago now with just a
Yeah.
shit, a proper one on
a
her stomach.
biblical.
Yeah.
Do you know who it might
Log.
have been? 'Cause
Huh?
it-
Dwight,
do you know who it might
Dwight
have been?
York?
Not well, it could have been, but I think it was post Dwight.
It was post White, yeah.
Fucking Shane Duffy was at her for a while.
You go out of that.
Yeah, it might have been Shane Duffy's log.
So it's one of Dwight York, Shane Duffy, or Harvey Price.
yeah.
Yes, or the sheiks of Dubai.
Or an elephant.
Either way,
Or an
that's a great.
Because it was enormous.
Yes.
You know what it reminds me of? You know that radioactive lump in Chernobyl that's called the elephant's foot?
Yes.
There's the leakage. It looks like the leakage from the radioactive chamber.
Right.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's probably about the same weight as well.
Poor old Jordan. Sure, she's only trying to earn a living to keep Harvey in nappies or whatever else. You know.
Yeah.
It's clearly not fucking using the nappies.
I need to get a bigger nappy.
Next one. I told the missus I was going to my grandma's funeral, but instead I met a meaty goth in a graveyard and had a quickie in the disabled bathroom, which I didn't know graveyards had bathrooms, so that's news for me.
Yeah.
There's a shitter in the graveyard.
There's a shit
Now
in the
that's a high-end graveyard.
Yeah.
The more shocking thing is that the goth didn't want to just do it over the tombstone.
Yeah, a
Right.
little Katie Price action.
He probably had to talk her out of that,
Yeah.
and just
This could be the
Like, come on now.
same guy again.
yeah. So can you read it? So he's at a graveyard with this godless little yoke, and then what? He just shags her in a
In a
disabled.
quickie in the table bathroom, got away with it until the next day when the goth came round to my house and met my grandma who was still alive and the missus. So
And the missus.
yeah,
And she came. Why does the goth come into the house? Am I missing something here?
there's a lot. We're all missing something.
She shows up at the house. The goth.
Yeah.
This little bat woman shows
How'd
up.
she get there? Because fucking goths don't drive. Like,
Nobody, fuck, they don't. I think I may have. This might be a dream. I may have seen like a goth fly before. Do you know what I mean? I think. They,
Well, like a sort of phantom.
yeah, like. Do you know what I mean? Like
just finishing a shift at CX and flying out the shutters.
She leaves a trail behind of like monster and body odor in her wake.
Yeah.
Monsters are fuel. That's their fucking jet fuel. To
That's
get them
right.
going.
Well, apparently in Mao's China, when they
White
killed all the birds,
monster can't melt steel beams, right? That's what they say. Next one. I was chatting to a girl at the Ship in Wandsworth. Have you
at
been-
the ship.
Yeah.
Good,
We've been there.
brilliant.
Do you remember? We went for after work.
Is that
drinks
Wandsworth?
in Wandsworth. The Ship.
That's where your policewoman got rogered, isn't it? Oh,
What?
do you remember not the policewoman, the jail guard was recorded shagging some.
HMP Wandsworth.
Yeah. Fuck, I didn't know I was at that place. That's class.
No, the prison.
Unreal.
The prison is. It's not. We didn't go to the prison.
No, we didn't go to the prison, but
We
we
went
went
to
being
the
in
ship.
within the vicinity of it. I didn't know it was
Yeah.
that
So we
close.
were around the corner from there. So we went there.
So the ship is a pub.
Yeah.
So I met this woman at the ship.
Yeah. No, it's not like this.
Right.
Isn't. All right.
down at the yard.
It's not.
Just down at the ship.
This isn't
yard, yeah.
Blackbeard writing
Right.
in.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm a Harlan and Wolf.
So yeah, it was at the Ship, which is a hub for Z-listers and corporate quarter-zip wankers, of which I am both.
Right.
So I told her, just to change it up a bit, that I worked in WH Smith in Holborn. I put the magazines out just to give it a bit of a fresh twist. I like that.
I like that as well.
Next
Class.
one. I told a bird that I spoke Swahili to impress her, as her dad fought in the Rhodesian Bush War and was a proper hardened white Kenyan. However, she was a girl
White.
raised in Surrey, so she didn't speak a word of it.
Right.
You know Swahili?
Me.
You know a bit?
I just.
It's not
the
like
basics.
it's not full click territory.
Right.
It's like there are some.
Yeah.
But it's not all the way.
Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like a sort of drum solo.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
it sound like
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like click zero or click.
It's a very percussive
Diet click.
English, really.
Yeah.
click?
Diet click.
Yeah. So
Right. So he's made up. So he's just basically gone.
So he was like, yeah, if I can speak a bit of Swahili, actually. He said, I went to Kenya in my gap year, so I just repeated to her the lyrics to one song which I had learnt while I was out there, and she bought all of it. A few weeks later, she said I would be meeting her father, who she had informed of my language ability. So upon arrival, he greeted me in Swahili and tried to converse with me. I knew I was in a big hole, so I managed to convince him and the girl I was seeing that the scar on the back of my head that I got from a mole removal was an operation I had gone through a week before, where they removed a lobe of my brain.
Just the Swahili bit.
Just the Kenyan bit. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it came up in an MRI scan.
They were swirling around with a cotton bug, like making some candy floss or something.
On the MRI, it's just like you've got something very nasty there. It's the knowledge of Swahili.
Yeah.
We must take it out.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Next
that's
one.
Good stuff.
I went to Australia with my ex for a wedding. We were together for 4 years. She turned out to be an enormous bitch on that trip, but like any good man, I agreed that the trip was awesome and we should go backpacking together. Fast forward a year, and I booked a one-way flight to Australia without her, and she's none the wiser. My friends even did an Aussie-themed leaving do, and I'm going to say, before I say the rest of this sentence, I do not condone this behaviour.
Okay.
Okay. My friends did an Aussie-themed leaving do where I got covered with boot polish and dressed as an Aboriginal.
Oh, come on.
Jesus Christ.
Please.
That was in there. I do not condone that behaviour, and it's not funny.
Yeah.
I said I was going for 2 weeks for work, and it was a trip I couldn't turn down, and then I just never came home.
There's a better way of going about it.
There's a better way.
You didn't have to get the boot polish out. I think we can all agree with
The
that.
boot polish could have stayed in the tin.
Yeah.
And it can, and that goes to everyone, because there's a lot of people listening who have a little thing of boot polish to their left, and there's a temptation in their heart.
That being said, I reckon Kiwi had a record year. Those guys.
Oh
Yeah, those boot polish guys had a big year for sales because it's more than one tin to cover a bloke. I would have said. Those are only tiny little tins.
It's probably the only money Timpsons have made this decade.
Yeah.
They're hoping for a real resurgence in racism. Timpsons.
Yeah. Blackface would save them if it came
Oh yeah. You know the Dutch do a bit of blackface there once a year.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Timpsons should expand out there.
Timpsons should put all their eggs in the Dutch basket, because the Dutch love blackface.
Yeah, they do it once a year for Christmas. Blackface
Yeah,
for Christmas.
and they all just run around like in blackface. Mental.
Fuck me.
Burkamp, Van Persie, the whole of them.
Yeah.
Just fucking screaming around in
Wesley
blackface.
Schneider.
Schneider. Schneider's climbing up a tree in black.
40 yards.
Yeah, little bollocks.
Next one. Once at a club, I convinced a girl that we had met before at a family party and that we were distant cousins. I started naming a few people and apparently got the names of some of her cousins and grandparents right, so she ended up believing me. We ended up going home to mine a bit later, and to this day she still believes that she slept with a distant cousin.
The fact that she was okay with
Lots
it.
of problems here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a distant cousin, lads.
How distant are you talking?
Do you know what I mean?
I feel like the Irish have a bit of different barometer.
If we were to rule out every distant cousin, sure, we'd be in,
Our bloodline would end. In the
the
next
bloodline would end. You have to draw a line and say, right, you look down the family tree and say, that's fair enough. Give me an old kiss on the lips now.
Right. Maybe it's something that the Irish community and the posh community have in common.
It actually, and it's funny because you think, who are the most inbred people? And you think Irish travellers and the royal family,
Yeah.
right?
It's funny because the Queen and Prince Philip were genuinely second cousins.
You see us too close.
That's a bit too close for comfort now.
Apparently, whenever you get as far as like fifth or sixth cousin, you're about as related to them as you are a random man in the streets.
So I did a speech. I did a speech at Oxford.
Of course you did.
There was a guy there who was getting chat from the rest of the debating society.
Yeah.
Because he got with his fifth cousin.
And he was getting, he was getting lauded for this, or
No,
people were.
It was still take. I think his fifth cousin is still take the piss territory.
I think they were thinking, "Fuck, why'd you go so far out?"
Right? Yeah.
I think if you know what it is, that's too close. If you don't, if you know the relation and you don't have to break the tree out,
Right.
I think that's too close.
Yeah.
I think once you start getting the charts out,
Once you start getting the charts out, once you start going to ancestry.com, do you know what? Call the day, lad.
probably all right.
That's
if
right.
you see them at like your aunt's fucking 40th, they're too close.
That's too close.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
if you've
yeah.
never met them or something, and you know,
If
it sounds like we're really advocating for incest.
Well, you know what?
If you've shared sausages off the same barbecue, I
Yes.
think it's
Yeah.
too close.
Have you ever had a vol-au-vent at the same function? You shouldn't be fucking riding.
Wow, I
No.
didn't know you knew what a vol-au-vent was.
Vol-au-vents are big back home.
Volvants are a big
Are they?
deal now.
Well, it's just got a French name, so I assumed you would think
No.
it's some kind of poncy thing.
I went home there last week, and for me coming home, my mom made me vol-au-vents. She hasn't made them in years, but I don't know what I done to deserve.
Did
that
you have
treatment.
chicken and mushroom ones?
I had chicken and bacon ones.
Chicken and
actually.
bacon. Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus, that's even better. You must have felt like the king of
I
France.
fucking did, and then a few
Oh
sausage
my
rolls
God.
and all.
Oh,
I was thinking she's just gonna whip out the Cookstown sausage rolls, but she made them from scratch. I felt like a king in my own house.
for fuck's sake. A good woman,
She's
Yeah.
a kind woman. Your mother wouldn't do that for you.
She's never made a sausage roll, if that's what
No.
you're asking.
No, she's never.
She is a food writer, so she does cook quite a lot, actually.
She's a food writer, your
yeah,
mother.
yeah.
There must have been an inheritance there, was there?
What do you mean?
Well,
Oh, you thinking nepotism?
well, no, but I think food writers. Sure, who the hell is paying you to do that?
The Telegraph.
Really?
Yeah.
St. J's had a great plate of spuds there. They're fucking lovely.
yeah.
She doesn't do a lot of MASH-related content, I have to say.
The Tyrone courier doesn't pay the same, sadly.
It's it's exactly the sort of food you think, like salads with pomegranate in and stuff like that.
Right.
That's the sort of thing she's
Right.
writing about.
Yeah.
What about like a chip buddy or something?
No, I think I get disowned if I even brought the idea up.
So do you
If
go?
there's no goat's cheese, it's not happening in the Rice household.
Right. But so did you grow up on fancy food then? Not when I say
no.
fancy, but like
Not really.
healthy.
Well, my mum wasn't a food writer then.
Right.
We're well cultured though. You had a lot of different food.
Yeah, and by that you mean I'd had sushi before the age of 25,
Basically,
which is
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have went near it. I would have been suspicious of sushi for the longest time.
yeah.
when was the first time you had sushi, Aidan?
I had something. It was like rice and chicken. but I don't think it was proper sushi. But it was in that Itsu place.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
That Itsu place.
Aye, my
Yeah.
mum wanted to go in. She likes all that shit. But
A godless little place, a devious little bit. You see him in there, and
But you talk about Itsu like it's Imperial Japan during the Endo period, where it's just like this impenetrable cultural cataclysmic shift that you're not able to comprehend. Whereas what it is basically Asian Pret.
well, no, you
I wouldn't
go.
go near a Pret either. But
No,
you know that.
no. There'd be kind of it's like, what's going on in prep? What are they? Do you know what I mean?
Playing at, like,
Huh?
what are they playing?
What are you playing at? I shout in there often. Hey, what the hell? No answer back.
Remember, I got a meal deal one time
Yeah.
from Sainsbury's or Tesco or something, and then you went to Pret and you had a couple of bits and pieces, and I was thinking, fuck that actually looks tasty.
Yeah.
15 fucking quid
Yeah.
for his meal deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I feel good about paying that much. Like, it should cost that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
If it was cheaper than that, I'd start getting suspicious. I'd be like, what the fuck's happened to Pret? It's all going downhill. This is just becoming like this is just Cafe Nero
I
now.
had half that chicken and bacon sandwich, and it started to taste very chewy towards the end.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
what the fuck's in it? Like,
No,
it's
no.
$3.50.
I tell you, I went a long time on the meal deals. I have reached the moment where now I'm like, I don't think I can have another one.
Yeah.
I've just eaten them. I tell you, Pret at the airport, there's no easier place to rob from. I just will say that.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Aye.
It's they have no defense system in there. It's just free for all.
What were you expecting? Like a sort of Iron Dome Israel missile system?
Brother, I'm gonna have to fucking run here, lads.
Well,
No, that's us,
we've
anyway.
come to the end of the show.
We
so
surely
that's
have to.
That's very convenient. So yeah, thanks so much for coming on, Mike. It's been a
lad,
pleasure to have you.
I've had such a laugh.
Cheers, mate.
Legend,
Come on.
Aidan.
Hope you enjoyed. Your Helen Keller snipe will go down in the history books. So congratulations. For
Surely that was an all-time get.
that. It was a great game.
Class,
Yeah.
So we'll be back again next week with another, I don't know, sort of
Man.
another tingly episode of Radio Rufus. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I don't know.
Is there anything you want to say to the camera?
No, he's already fucked off. He's already gone. He's got his backpack out.
Right, see you later, Mike.
Right, lad, chat to you soon.
We'll see you again next time. Back to you.